Hey guys, Silverlord here, back again with another action figure review. Those of you wondering why you're staring at a pair of giant robot legs, read the title. No, but today, we're finally, for real this time, gonna be wrapping up our looks at the Transformers Studio Series Revenge of the Fallen Constructicons with the big bad boy himself, Devestator, who is of course brought to us by the fine folks over at Hasbro, who will remain fine folks for the duration of this review, despite the fact that this is going to be a big fat pain in my ass to put together. However, I decided what better way to celebrate this oh so joyous occasion than to force you motherfuckers to suffer through it with me. So, of course we are going to start from the ground up, kicking things off with the legs, Voyager class Long Haul and Rampage, who, despite the fact isn't yellow, he's all we got. So we're gonna have to work with it. Now, moving Rampage aside, so we can focus on Long Haul here. There is, of course, a little bit of an ankle rocker. And then you can get some forward and back out of this as well. It's a little tight, but that's not a bad thing. Considering how much weight's going to be on this guy, that's exactly what you want. So, of course, you could see those two pegs there. We bring in our leader class Overload, aka the enemy scrotum, wrecking ball testicles not included. He, of course, has the upper legs that will go into both Long Haul and Rampage, and he does have some pretty nice and tight ratcheted hip joints there for our Devastator combined mode, as well as a thigh cut. Nothing in the knee, unfortunately, but if we turn this around, you can see that there is a designated area for Long Haul and Rampage. So unfortunately, you can't mix and match these two. You can do it with the arms, but you can't do it with the legs. If you want Long Haul to be a left leg and Rampage to be a right, it's not happening. So if I just take Long Haul here and line these slots up with the tabs on the front of him, we can just push down, and there we go. We have our right leg fully assembled. Now if I can lean this against my backdrop for a moment so we can look at Rampage here. Whoop. I'm out of space already. He of course has the same articulation as Long Haul, albeit not as tight, but he does have that rocker and he does have that lean back and forth. Now just turn this around, line him up, and hopefully get this slid in there. Bada bing, bada boom. And we are done with the legs. Now, he'll be a little sturdier with some fine tuning, but for now, he is all one piece and ready to rock. So I am going to actually hold that thought. We do also have this plate from scrap metal, and there is a peg hole on the kneecap right here that you can plug this in, or just drop it on the floor. That works too. Plug this in. There we go. Now it's in there. And what this is meant to do is to help the red of Overload blend into the yellow of the Skipjack figure. If you know, you know. But unfortunately, because Rampage is red, doesn't look that great. But if you have that Skipjack figure, I assure you, it looks a little better than that. So, with that being said, it is time now that we pan up so we can combine Overload with the leader class Scavenger. And now that we are successfully panned up and good old Overload is mooning all you innocent people out there, sorry not sorry, we can combine him with the leader class Scavenger, who has this giant slot here that will go on this giant tab here. So if I turn this guy sideways, we can hopefully line this up without too much effort. Push it down, bring this around. We gotta tab this into place, and then the crotch of Overload will also snap into place along with the head, as long as everything is lined up there. There you go. Once you hear that click, you're good to go. And you just lift the legs up, and then I'm gonna rotate the hips forward a bit. Also want to make sure these wheels are pushed back as far as they'll go, so they're out of the way. And there you have the torso for our Constructicon Devastator, fully combined, taking up even more real estate. But don't worry, it'll take up even more when we pan up and connect the arms. And now that we have successfully panned up once again, we can focus on attaching the arms. But before I do that, I guess I should address the elephant in the room, or in this case, the Mixmaster in the room, because I took the precaution of attaching Devastator's head off cam because, well, it was a right pain in the ass to do, and after I got it on, it's still not 100% right, but damn it all if it isn't good enough for this guy. So, grabbing our Devastator by his hips, and moving him over so we can focus on the right arm, which of course is going to be none other than the Voyager class Scrappa here, who has some finger joints there, as well as down here and here. Top that off with this very tight elbow hinge and a swivel in the elbow here where he attaches. You're going to have some pretty decent articulation on this guy. Now granted, Devastator's kind of stuck in the arm curling position, but if I'm not mistaken, that's actually movie accurate, and I'm not really sure how the fine folks over at Hasbro could have engineered that to work any better. So yeah, it's unfortunately just a nature of the beast at this point. And when I say beast, I mean literal beast, because this thing is massive. So I'm actually going to come around towards the front of the camera so I can get a better grip on this. So my apologies if you see a little more of me than you want to, but this is the easiest way for me to do this. And even then, it's still not going to be the easiest thing to attach this. So please bear with me while I struggle with sliding this tab down into this elbow joint there. There we go. That wasn't too difficult, and when all's said and done, you do get a little bit of shoulder articulation out of this. But mostly the weight of the arm is going to cause the rest of it to come crashing down. If I can get back behind the camera without knocking anything over, we can move Devastator over to the opposite side, where we can focus on, move him over a little more, the left arm, which will be the deluxe class scrap metal here. Let's get this big tab that will plug into our deluxe class Hightower. Not Hook, even though he's fucking Crane and it really doesn't matter. It's Hightower, alright? But he's got this slot here for the tab on scrap metal. So I am just going to take this and hopefully get this plugged in off cam where I have a better grip on things. Which again can be easier said than done because the tab is not as tight as the hinge it needs to go into. I mean, they're both hinges, but you know what I mean. The slot. It's a slot. Once it's in there, shift it up a little bit. And bada bing, bada boom, you got your left arm with individual finger joints, thanks to scrap metal. And then, for some weird reason, Hightower's head is the thumb. That does look kind of weird, I'm not gonna lie. Can't exactly justify that one. And then he does have a hinge for the elbow, just like Scrapper. Although this one's a little looser, so the stability of it is questionable at best. If I get up and head towards the opposite side of the camera once again so I can get a better grip on this, we should be able to attach this and successfully finish our Devastator here. It just depends on how many tries this is going to take. Because Scrapper took me a couple. Seems like these guys are going to take me a couple as well. And there we go. Shoulder articulation is the same as the other side. But now that that is attached, let me make sure this didn't pop off, okay. Come back around. Without bumping into anything, hopefully. And move Devastator back to the center. We now have our completed Constructicon Devastator with all 8 parts ready to suck up and grind Autobots into dust. This thing is both glorious and a nightmare at the same time. Panning down so we can see the head a little better. There's his noggin. He does have some jaw articulation, but nothing crazy. But yeah, this guy is absolutely insane. He is freaking massive. I think he's over 2 feet tall, but how tall exactly I can't remember. I think it's close to like 26 inches or something. And he costs less than the likes of the HasLab Sentinel and Galactus from Marvel Legends. Granted, he came out, I think they finished him during the height of the pandemic, so, you know, things didn't go up in price just yet, but the fact that they were able to pull this guy off for like, I want to say like $2.50 is pretty impressive. I can only imagine what they do with this guy nowadays with Commander class and Titan class. Like, they can make this thing a behemoth if they wanted to, but I think for what it's worth, it's really cool. It's just the journey is a pain right in the ass. So, with that being said, I think it is time now that we wrap things up with some final thoughts. Overall, and aside from being a major league pain in the ass for yours truly to review, at least in the way that he chose to review it, The only major gripes I have with this Transformers Studio Series Revenge of the Fallen Constructicon Devastator are due to, I'm guessing, age and possibly mistransformation in a few places. The joints aren't holding up as well as I had hoped, particularly in Rampage, who was re-released as Skipjack, not only having the yellow color scheme but also some tighter joints for the ankle. So maybe if I'm able to find one of those, which by the way, he goes for like $100 now, like 50 to $100 now. Wasn't that like a clearance figure for the longest time? Crazy how that works. I'll also say that the shoulder joints are rather loose, as well as the hinge on Hightower. The hips are okay, Long Haul is okay, Scrapper is probably the best of the bunch, but I think him and Overload were the last two released, so of course they got the tightest ratchets of the bunch. That said, if you can look past all that and you just want a really sick Devastator from Revenge of the Fallen for your Transformers Studio Series display, then look no further than this guy or the box set that reissued all these guys, because I think that one may have fixed some of the problems with the looseness in some of the joints on these figures. That said, that is going to wrap up my looks at not only Devastator, but the entirety of the Revenge of the Fallen Constructicons. I think anyone who has sat through me throughout the duration of this journey, it was not an easy journey to make, but I'm glad I can say that I reviewed this son of a bitch on this channel. It's not something I got to do on my old channel, but damn it all, if I wasn't going to attempt to do it here. And for those of you wondering, what about the two regulars, Brother Mandibilith and the 11 Spawn? If I can tilt the camera down here. Tilt it down a little more. Sorry, it's shifting around because of my iPad case. There we go. Alright, I probably panned down a little too far there. There. You could see that good old 11 Spawn and the Mythic Legion's Brother Mandibilith are absolutely dwarfed by this Devastator. It should have been expected, but you know, good old Al Simmons can't tower over everyone. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this review, for better or for worse at this point. And until next time, I'll catch you guys later.